medications that we get from the doctors are really derived from plant products.
Right.
Yes.
All right? And the thing is, the only problem with that is to supply the whole world with medications from its natural source, you'd have to destroy too many plants. And that won't be good for the environment. So they end up making synthetic versions,
Right.
chemical versions. And then you end up with all of the side effects. Right? And I guess just like they do with the cigarettes, they make a put on the cotton that it causes cancer. So I guess they do the same thing with the medication nowadays with the commercials, because they'll tell you the commercial, they'll tell you what the thing is, medication is for,
Facility.
and then they'll tell you about 3 or 4 other side effects.
Right.
All right, that ranges from blurred vision, excessive bleeding, and possible death.
Yeah.
And sometimes what you're dealing with is not life-threatening, but the thing that is supposed to help you could kill you. Doesn't make any sense at all.
No.
No. So natural is always better. Now take a look up ahead of us. You'd be able to recognize we're on top of a hill. We're going down the hill. But before we get to that, take note over here to the left. There's a faucet. Government supplied water. Government supplied water. Ladies,
Okay, wait.
gentlemen, that there shows that there are still a few people, not many, but there are still a few people in the ghetto area who still do not have indoor plumbing.
Wow.
Do not have indoor plumbing, which would also say if they don't have indoor plumbing, they still have outhouses.
Wow.
Right? Everybody know what an outhouse is?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
We had one when I was a little boy.
Right. You were uptown if you had a 2-holer.
Okay.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So a lot of folks do like to look back that far, but I always like to say, in order to know where you're going, you ought to have an appreciation
For where you came from.
Right?
Yes, sir.
My grandmother used to say, Perry, you gotta creep before you walk, and you gotta walk before you run. Just don't forget where you began.
Wow.
And to the right, we have Our Ladies parking lot.
Oh my goodness.
And I did say Our Ladies, I'm nothing to do with you ladies. But here on the island, Our Ladies don't happen to be the very best of drivers. Now, I was once told that it's the same in the States, but I don't know, so I'm just gonna leave that alone. All right? But before slavery was abolished here, everybody lived downtown. After slavery was abolished, the slaves moved over the hill and made their homes. They were very poor and didn't have much. So right over the hill became the ghetto. As they progressed, they moved further south and then east and west of the island, which is where more of the wealthier people live. And I will show you some of that also. But folks, whether you're east or west of the island, you would still have to go over a hill to get to where the regular natives live. So we call all of it over the hill. Over the hill, which is pretty much the same thing as what you used to call in the States across the train tracks many years ago. So we're now over the hill, across the tracks, in the ghetto. Or as they say in some parts of the States, the hood, the neighborhood. Now the other day I said this is ghetto, and the lady actually reached over and locked her door. I said, ma'am, take it easy, relax, it's not like that here. You're in the Bahamas now, it's different. But I can understand her trend of thoughts. Because for the most part, the general idea about the ghetto in America is to get out of the ghetto for your life's sake. Because of drugs, crime, and all that. Here in the Bahamas, we do on drugs and gangs, but on a much smaller scale. So it's not that the people here do not have money. They do have money. They just spend it in other areas. And you would see evidence of a couple of dollars when you look around and notice, say, over here to the left, on top of the roof, they got sunlight dish. Air-conditioned unit on the wall. All right?
What kind of fruit is that in the tree?
Breadfruit.
Wow.
Breadfruit, yeah. Kind of like a potato. All right?
Wow.
Now, also, you may notice some okay cars here and there, small businesses here and there. Take a look to the right, the orange colored house here. See the sign says open, but when they open, they normally put on about 3 tables on which they put clothing, shoes, toiletries, Avon products, bootleg DVDs. They get a little corner store. And I want to point out, this is the ghetto. Folk around here do not have a whole lot. But a lot of people here in the Bahamas, even in the ghetto area, are still very business-minded. They still have dreams and visions that they're still trying to realize. Folks, Bahamians, people of the Bahamas, are very proud people, very hard-working people, very independent people. We do have welfare here on the island, but it would be the very last resort and the biggest secret in town. Nobody wants anybody to know they're receiving any kind of welfare assistance. Very proud people. Now, some of the younger folks save money and buy stuff like the Tommy Hilfiger, the Nautica, Fubu, Nike this and that, Ralph Lauren, Christian Dior, Sean John, Fat Farm, Rockaway, Gucci. They buy all the name brand clothing so they look like everybody else. Why? Because they don't want to leave their home in the ghetto, go out into the community, and people are able to just look at them and tell them they're from the ghetto just by the way they're dressed.
You guys don't shop at Walmart?
We don't have a Walmart, sir.
Oh, really?
We do shop at Walmart when we go to the States.
No.
And we do love Walmart, but we love Walmart from a distance. We don't want them to come here. They would put everybody else out of business.
Yeah.
You see? And the truth is, some people go to Walmart, buy stuff, and come home and bring and sell it to people. So they won't have that option if they do that. To the left here, guys, behind the fence, everything all the way to the back, everything that's the same color is all a part of the University of the Bahamas. We are very excited about this, folks, because this was established back in 1977 as the College of the Bahamas. As the College of the Bahamas. On the 10th of November past, 6 months ago, it became the University of the Bahamas. We've upgraded, all right? Now, I'm not quite certain, but from what I understand, the difference between the college and the university is that the university offers a whole lot more subjects than the college does. Lecturers all have doctorate degrees in the area in which they lecture, while colleges may just transmit information. Universities create and publish new information. They do more research. And also at the universities, there are colleges at the university. So we've taken it to the next level. All right. Oh, by the way, to the right, the building with the big yellow M, this is the American Embassy. Uncle Sam's house.
Yeah, you got that right.
And right next to it, we have Uncle Sam's sister, Wendy's. And folks, in the line of fast food outlets here on the island, what we do not have here on the island at present, over the years, we have had. They just didn't make it. Over the years, we've had Arby's, White Castle, Churches, Popeyes, Taco Bells, all those we've had. They did last for a little while, but eventually ran out of business. The longest one we've had on the island thus far has been number 1, McDonald's, number 2, KFC, number 3, Burger King. And Wendy's is now stronger than Burger King, but Burger King has been around a whole lot longer. But folks, I've been doing this now for quite some time, taking folks around the island, and I've noticed a lot of visitors, they see McDonald's and they go, wow, look at that. You get McDonald's in the Bahamas, wow, McDonald's is everywhere. Ladies and gentlemen, I am 49 years old. 49. All of my life, we've had McDonald's and KFC. All of my life. So it's not like they just got here. Seems like they've been there forever. So to see tourists getting excited about seeing McDonald's in the Bahamas in 2017, it really seems kind of crazy. We've always had them. Right? Notice the Chinese restaurant there to the right? We do have Chinese here. In fact, we've had Chinese here from the 1800s. From the 1800s. When I was a little boy, around about 8 years old, and I was sent to the store down the street, that was the Chinese food store. All right? Today they've expanded, and we have generations of Chinese. And I'm talking to the point where on the island, you can run into a guy, and folks, everything that you would see would say Chinese. But then he opens his mouth and speaks, and everything you would hear would say island. I'm talking a Chinese with an island accent.
Wow.
It is quite odd. Quite odd. You'll take a double take to see if that sound actually came out of that mouth. Alright? Another thing people know about Chinese, for the most part, they never marry outside of their race. Here in the Bahamas, we have Chinese marrying Bahamians. Yes, we do. And would any of you happen to know what you would end up with when a Chinese marry a Bahamian?
Burmese.
No, you all saw that,
Chinese.
you all saw that movie Rush Hour with Chris Tucker?
Uh-huh.
Blackenese.
Ah.
Blackenese, that's what they call it. We just adopted it. Now, as you move along, you begin to recognize that the homes here are nicer than the first era that we passed. This is more like a middle-class area. Or should I say middle-income area? Because no class of people should be considered above any other.
I like that.
But the homes around there would range from about $50,000 going up to about $250,000, ranging in that area, all depending on the size, architectural design, and the property itself. And guys, the property does have a lot to do with it, because if you were to take some of these same homes and you put them back in the ghetto, they will be cheaper. Likewise, if you put them in the upper level area, it'd be a whole lot more expensive. Just like at home, the three main things when it comes to real estate: location, location, location. Very important. Value of the property is always very important.
How about Hispanic restaurants?
Hispanic restaurants,
Burritos and tacos.
Taco Bell was the only one that we had, and that's gone. Now, I want to jump back to education. I want to say a little bit more about that. We have about 26 private schools and about 45 public schools on this island alone. And they all were uniform, private and public schools. Schools are from grade 1 up to grade 12. After high school, we have the Baptist Community College, Success Training College. We have a branch of the University of the West Indies, which is based in Jamaica, a branch of the University of St. Benedict, which is based in Minnesota, and the new University of the Bahamas. And all of them offer four-year programs, all of them. So you can study just about anything right here on the island, and for a whole lot cheaper. You're only paying about $5,000 a year. $5,000, which is very, very cheap for college education. And folks, college credits here are accepted in colleges around the states. They are. Now, maybe not at, say, Harvard, Yale, Princeton, but there are many colleges even in America which credits are not accepted at those colleges. All right? Take a look over to the far left, and there's a big stadium. It's a track and field stadium, which was a gift to the Bahamas from the People's Republic of China. A $30 million gift. Right? Now, a lot of Americans been asking Perry, what's that all about? Why are they being so nice, you guys? What do they want? But as you all would know, China is a communist country. And they also have the most people in the world. In communist countries, they give their citizens everything that they need. Maybe not what they want, maybe not the luxuries of life, but everything that they need, they give it to them. So they say, we're giving you everything you need. You can't just sit around and do nothing. You got to work. But they got over 1 billion people. They're finding it difficult putting all these people to work. So what they're doing, they're going around the world to smaller countries like the Bahamas, making these type donations of gymnasiums, stadiums, clinics, hospitals, roads. They say, guys, we're going to take care of this for you. You do not need to pay us back. We got it. The only thing is that our people would have to come over to do the work. So they brought hundreds of Chinese down. They built the stadium. It's already finished. They went back home. They've helped us. We've helped them.
Wow.
It doesn't belong to them. It belongs to us.
Nice.
Everybody wins. All right. Here we have the Royal Bahamas Police Force Training College. Same thing as what you'd call at home, Police Academy. Right? And as you go around the island, noticing our police officers, you'd probably recognize that quite a few of our police officers do not carry guns. Right? Now that is partially because of the English history. We used to be under England, and in England the police officers don't carry guns either. But the bigger thing for us is that a young guy can get out of high school at 18 years old. He goes into the police academy, and 8 months down the road, he's out on the street as a police officer. Folks, if you put a gun in his hand, you put a gun in the hand of a child. The guy who beat him up the last day of school may not be in a very good position. Alright? So we don't want to arm every police officer. They have to be properly evaluated to make certain they don't have anger management issues and what have you. Alright? Now this here is a first shopping stop. I like to make 2 of them because I believe you're special. What I mean by that is the next stop is where you get your market stuff, the really, really cheaper stuff. But that, folks, is normally where you shop for your neighbors and your co-workers. You remember when you were leaving home, quite a bit of people said, bring me back something. But they didn't give you no money. That's where you shop for them. This here is a little better quality. This is where you treat yourself and your loved ones. These t-shirts would not shrink up after one wash. Some of the others may. So I always like to say, if you want wash and wear, you would shop here. But if you want wash and tear, you shop there, the other place. But you would have opportunity to both.